Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for visiting and showing an interest in reproductive education. My name is Virginia, and I am a student at San Jose State University studying systems physiology. Basically, I'm specializing in anatomy and how the human body works. This is dedicated to my advanced anatomy class, and I'm going to share with you some anatomy knowledge. Now, this video is for everybody, so you don't have to have any prior knowledge about anything. So, I hope you enjoy today's topic and have fun learning something new. Now, I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with the reproductive system. I find it fascinating. It is a super important subject for every living being because it is mainly responsible for making babies, with a few extra functions. Today's topic deals with the female reproductive system. A female refers to an organism that is born with the ability to produce eggs. And as most people know, those eggs turn into babies. There is an organ in the female reproductive system called the uterus. It is where the egg attaches and grows in order to become a fetus until it is born a baby. When there isn't a baby, it likes to cleanse itself by shedding its inner lining, called the endometrium. Anyone born a female understands this to be called a period, or menstrual cycle. Today's topic is all about the uterus, specifically uterine defect. So let's get into it. I'll be sharing with you my findings on bicornuate uteri. Now, that is a crazy couple of words to hear. All it means is heart-shaped uterus. Uteri are just plural for uterus. So let's take a look at the uterus. This is a normal uterus. We have the uterine tubes that are connected to the ovaries, ready to catch eggs so they can be fertilized. We also have the vagina, which connects to the cervix. And the cervix is the opening at the distal end of uterus. Everything that comes out of the uterus comes out through here. And at the very center is the uterus itself. It has three different layers: serosa, myometrium, and endometrium. So, how does the uterus develop a heart shape? Well, bicornuate uteri is a congenital defect, meaning it develops the wrong way for some reason during development. Scientists don't really know why it happens, but while rare, it can happen. By the time a fetus is at 6 weeks old, it has developed what is called the mesonephric duct, and by the seventh week, it has the paramesonephric duct. The mesonephric duct eventually turns into all the male reproductive organs, and the paramesonephric duct turns into all the female reproductive organs. But sometimes when the uterus starts forming, that duct doesn't fuse together correctly, and it causes the uterus to look more like a heart. It doesn't sound so bad at first, but it has some complications. At the very top of the uterus, or the fundus, the serosa will create an indent into the uterus, which gives it that heart shape at the top. Depending on how far the indentation goes, the uterus can have one or two canals: bicornuate bicolus for two, and bicornuate unicolus for one. Living through daily life can put someone at high risk for endometrial cancer, and if the supportive ligament of the uterus, the fibrous band, also has a defect, it can mean high risk for uterine rupture since the uterus can't expand. Those that live with a bicornuate uterus can live a happy, normal life, but they should be aware of their health and have regular checkups. The most common complications of having a bicornuate uterus happens when trying to have kids. The main complications that have been researched and considered to be high risk are preterm labor and delivery, meaning the baby is born too early, pregnancy-induced hypertension, meaning high blood pressure, postpartum hemorrhage, meaning after birth a concerning amount of blood can be lost, and miscarriages, which sadly means the fetus was not able to live. It sounds awful and it can sound scary too. However, in the small percentage of uterine defects, scientists and medical professionals know it is serious when they happen, and they have dedicated themselves to finding treatments for this defect. People can always use a surrogate if they don't want to have surgery or go through pregnancy. But pregnancy is also achievable with close monitoring. Surgical unification, called abdominal metroplasty, can be done to fix the shape of the uterus by combining the two canals into one. And this surgery can also be done laparoscopically, meaning a surgeon can put in a tiny camera with a surgical tool, and doing a laparoscopy tends to be much easier and faster to heal from. The best way to find out if you have a bicornuate uterus is to have an MRI scan. It can be done through an ultrasound, but you can't always tell how severe your condition is, so usually an MRI is preferred or recommended. Again, I know it sounds a little scary when we think about the complications, but it is definitely interesting. And everyone should be educated on the subject. Not everyone knows what a uterus is, much less if they have a bicornuate one. It's not a common defect, so I wouldn't worry, but it is still very important information to know. For those that want to find out if they have it, or for those who have a diagnosis to be able to have all of the medical information shared with you, can have a huge impact on your life. That way, you can make thorough medical decisions for yourself and your future. Well, everyone, thank you for learning something new with me today. I'll include all of my sources, so if you are curious about any of the information I provided or want to know more, you have access to it all. There are many combinations and other defects that can happen besides developing a bicornuate uterus, but we'll have to get into that another time. Thank you for joining me and have a great day. I hope to see you later. Bye.